Good morning, everybody. AJ, the CEO here. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm not going to do this often, but I have to give a big shout out and thank you for all of y'all. So this is the one time I'm going to do this, all right? So again, thank you so much. Hey, there you go. Thank you so much, folks, for all the congratulations and all this other stuff. Just completely blown away by everything. Give me half a second to verify my sound real quick. This other stuff. All right, so I can hear myself fine. Again, thank you so much, folks. Happened last Friday. Was given an honorary doctorate in humane letters. I had the whatever they called it, but it was for the work like we're doing like here. So again, very thankful for that. I had a bunch of people talking about my sister said, I ain't gonna call you Dr. Holmes, because my dad was Reverend Dr. Arthur A. Holmes Sr. Now it's Dr. Arthur A. Holmes Jr. I don't know. I use it when it's needed. But anyway, thank y'all so much for here. We've been bouncing around and all this other stuff. Got a bunch of people on here. Let me holler at some folks. Streets of Destiny, what's going on? Got my stuff right. Francisco, hey, good morning. Parker, hello. Charles Robinson Jr., hello. Good morning. Got some folks chiming in from Nigeria. Thank you so much for stopping by. Anthony, again, thank you. Monty, what's going on? I'm catching up with Monty later this afternoon. Got a project that he's working on. I'm happy to help with that. Cares of the Covenant, hello. We're going to get back to y'all's questions. Bruce, hello. Got some folks from Portugal, hello. Thank you for joining. Jay, hello. Mike from Canada, hello. Robert, hello. Thomas, hello. Get to your question here shortly. Lamar, hello. And I think that's about it. We'll give some more time for people to join on. So again, thank you so much, folks. Let me get my pedal here. There we go. And if you don't mind helping folks, if you like what we're doing here, go ahead and hit that like button. We got 25 people watching. If you can go ahead and let's see if we can we get this to 100 likes? Hopefully, if you're watching this at a later time, I would appreciate that as well too. And I am making markers here at the same time, which I normally do not do. So it makes my thumbnails later. Did you know that y'all can do that? That after the fact, while you're doing a stream, if you're streaming with YouTube, you can make markers. So like if I cut over here, I'm hitting this marker right here and it's adding a timestamp that does that in the description so that I can easily mark back instead of just watching over. I didn't know if y'all knew that. So there you go. So let's get to the questions, folks. Actually, before I talk about that, tomorrow I am going to be in Haverton, PA. Help out a ministry up there, Seventh-day Adventist Church. And actually, let me get the name so I make sure. We are heading out this afternoon, and I'm making a mistake here because I don't have the church's name. Kind of want to know that. I have it. It's in my invoice for there, but let me look it up. So if you're in the area, it's Haverton Seventh-day Adventist Church. That was easy. That's where we're going to be Saturday, and then we're going to be back here in the area, and then on Tuesday we're going to be heading up to back to Queens, New York, help out Blanche church. Where went up there, did a tour of some stuff, and we're going to go up there and get their stuff straight and fixed and rework the workflow and then do some training with them. Then we're going to be back Then we're going to be in Boston, Massachusetts for the entire week of June 4th through the 11th, helping a ministry out there with T. I'm surprised she hasn't jumped on here yet, but we're going to be helping her and her ministry out. And then after that, we have already started. I didn't do the recording of it. We already started work on Hood Temple AME. We actually finished one of the digital walls at Good Shepherd. I didn't realize I had a little bit of time, so I didn't get a chance to record as much. Actually, I did record, but the video is so short. That's why I didn't put it together. So real quick, just to show you what it looks like so far, and there it goes. So that's one of the walls already put in place. We're going to put a frame around there just to cover up everything. And then next week, Thursday, we're going to start working on the right side. Wednesday, we're going to be back at Hood Temple AME because all of the televisions we ordered are going to be delivered. So the main thing is they're going to start service that first Sunday. So we want to get the sound in place. I already have all the speakers there except for one that couldn't fit in the car. We're going to get all the sound straight, hang the speakers, get all that stuff done. Then the cameras and everything like that, we're going to get that done later. But we are going to do that Wednesday, head back over to Good Shepherd on Thursday, get all that stuff done. And I messed up my schedule. I thought I was supposed to be in North Carolina on Tuesday. That's actually not until next month. So we got a lot of fun stuff going on. But anyway, let's get over here to some of the questions. Streets of Destiny. I discovered on the X32, sliders control in-house, not USB out. How do I control the USB? So the question was, if you're sending audio out over USB, how do you control that? Now, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. Me personally, what I have done is I use whatever program that's sending the audio out. That's how I control that. That's me personally. So there are other ways that you could do that. You could route audio to the USB, and then you can set it that way. So let me get over here to my desktop here. Oh, and I don't have the board on. Hold on. Turn this on here. So the idea is you can come in here and then under your card, it is out. Well, no card installed. Hold on. Because I'm not connected. There it is. Let's connect that one. I didn't have it I didn't have it auto connected because I had the other board for Hood Temple AME set up. That's why I turned that off. So let's give that a second for that to come on. All right, so when you're routing this audio out, let's bring this up again. You have this coming out here, and then you can sync whatever type of audio that you want. So I don't have it connected to my cable right now. So let me do that. Where's the, oh, there it is. All right, there's this. This is the USB cable from there. Let me plug this into my computer. Hopefully it doesn't mess my audio up here for a second. All right. So now this is connected now. And when you come down here, you want to see what audio you want to bring in. So for me, I don't like doing second mixers and stuff like that, but this is one of the things that I think is easiest. You could route different audio and all this other fun stuff. So if I come over here, this is what we're looping, and let's actually do it this way. Where's this? Let's turn that off. I don't want screen capture. So say we're bringing in audio input. So inside of here, we want to pick. So you see we have ends 1 through 8, 7, 8, 5, 6, 3, 4, all this other stuff. So that's your audio in. That is representing the audio coming in from your board. So if we have our routing here, we have our outs. That's what this is representing, 1 through 8. So what you could do to control this is make a separate mix, like your live stream mix. Make a live stream mix. So like right now, I have live stream mix as mix number 1. So I can say mix bus, I don't know, say 4 and 5. I want to say this is my live stream mix. So that's 4 and 5. So 1, 2, actually, let me do 3 and 4. That's actually easier. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what's coming from here. All right. So this will now let me control the volume right here. This is controlling that mix, which is the live stream. Now, when I'm looping in my audio, I want to bring in Behringer 3 and 4, which is that mix. So when I bring that in, when I adjust the volume in here, but more importantly, on the board for that mix, this will adjust that level of audio that's coming in. When you just do it by default, it's just taking in whatever. The easiest thing is assign your live stream to a specific mix that is on its own mix bus. Then you can change the volume just for that mix and send that mix, which is 3 and 4, out from the board. Say that's the audio that's being brought in over USB. That's how I would do that. So let me know if that makes sense. And we can go over another test, because that's how I set the board up. I set the board up for Hood Temple AME here and just configured everything. So when I walked over there, it just plugs in. And that's some of the stuff we can do. And we can do it more detailed if you need me to do that. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. Cares of the Covenant. Is there a way to remove sound from a video when you left a second mic? Well, what do you mean by that? I mean, you could. I mean, is there still audio coming in? That's what I would like to know. If you still have, now I'll do this. Right now, I have all my audio coming into my ATEM right now, right? That's how I have it coming in. And that's how I typically record. When I record, I just record off of the ATEM. Now, my audio board, I used to do this until I started being a little bit more proficient with my stuff. I used to record the audio on my board separately because it's just redundancy. So if anything happened, my board is recording every single track of my audio. And I've made that mistake many a time. This other mic that I just took down, I'll turn that on, or honestly, sometimes I'd have the wrong mic on and I'd just talk. The fact that I'm recording from my mixer that records every single track, I can overlay that and cancel that stuff out. Yeah, if you don't have anything like that in place, I don't know. I need to know exactly how your stuff is, and maybe we could work through that, but without really knowing what's going on. Is it a lot of feedback? I mean, you could probably do some engineering to try and fix some of that stuff. DaVinci Resolve does have some voice isolation that can get rid of all that stuff. With AI, that might be the easiest thing. But without me getting an exact example, it's kind of hard for me to say. But I think it is possible. Bruce, good morning. I'll be viewing the recording as I have errands. All righty, I appreciate it. Let's jump over here. Jay Matthews. Good morning, AJ. What device do I need if I would like to show different pictures on each screen? Example, lyrics on the 2 side screens and motion graphics on the center. We currently have an ATEM Mini Pro. Well, you're going to be kind of limited if you have the ATEM Mini Pro, if that's exactly how you're going to do it. So let me close this. Let me open up diagrams.net. Let's cut over here. So if we were going to do what you're talking about, let's go with the ATEM Mini Pro based off of what you said. So we have the, and my chair is not right. All right, so the ATEM Mini Pro. So the ATEM Mini Pro has 4 inputs and only 1 output, and that output can be program only or multi-view. You can't do both. That's honestly why I always recommend now the ATEM Mini Extreme. So let's say in that example that you said, let's bring that comment up one more time. Brandon, I see you. Man, I got some Phoenix Pro mics for Hood Temple AME. Meant to hit you up about that before I ordered this. So my apologies, sir. So let's bring that up again. You have lyrics on 2 side screens. So let's copy this. And we'll just say this is lyrics and lyrics. And motion graphics on the center. So almost kind of like how everything is set up at Signs and Wonders a bit. And then we'll say motion graphics. and you have the ATEM Mini Pro. Now, first, Jay, what software are you using? Because honestly, the doing this like with ProPresenter would make this a whole lot easier. So like right now, you only have this output. So let's say I'm gonna bring this computer in, and I'll just say this is presentation PC. And I actually had a church reach out to me, wants me to build them a computer for ProPresenter, and they're in Australia. And man, it was more, it's cheaper for me to build a computer, take it with me, and I personally fly to Australia and hand deliver it than it is for me to ship the thing. So we're waiting to see how that goes. But say I bring this in. We bring this into here. So what's going to happen? So we'll just call this lyrics right now, right? And then if you're going to drive this out of here, you are limited to either lyrics or program. That's all you have an option for, all right? So if we do this, and this is all you got, right? If you're doing it this way, you're not going to be able to split this at all. Now, what I would do in this scenario, depending on your computer, is I would completely bypass all of this. Unless, and what I would do is I would connect the ATEM, and I'm going to stick with the ATEM Mini Pro if we had this. I would change this to, actually, that's not the color I use, USB. So we can bring in anything, and I'm just going to say we're using ProPresenter. That's the easiest thing. What I would do is have three outputs. So either a GPU that has it, or some of these mini monitors. Like I just added a mini monitor in my computer right now that makes it easier for when I'm doing video editing. I have the screen that's in front of me just puts a full screen instead of me looking over here to do that. But anyway, you can have put a couple of these inside, and ProPresenter can talk to them directly. And then what I would have is one output that's coming for the ATEM. So that's my ATEM feed. And this is the same way I have it at Science and Wonders. And then I would have another output for lyrics from ProPresenter directly. And then that would also split this. So you could split that signal, HDMI, SDI, whichever one. It doesn't really matter. And then another output would be here. So let me actually put some dashes in here or something so we can see the differences of our connections. So we got that. And then we have this one. All right, so that's our path. So inside of ProPresenter would split this appropriately. So it's the same way I've done before. So let's open up ProPresenter so you can actually see that same setup. And I'll actually do these as virtual screens because this will make this easier as well too. So I already have my stuff going into my ATEM the exact same way. And I don't know why ProPresenter is taking so long to open. They've been releasing so many updates, and this thing has just been kind of crazy. All right, so here in ProPresenter, you see, let's say I'm going to bring this up. We have our graphics here, and let's actually do this as a multiple screen so we can set the whole thing up. So we got screens. I'm going to do all of these as NDI screens. That'll work easier. So let's actually get rid of this. Let's make a new one, and we'll call it an NDI screen. And I'm going to do it at a smaller resolution because I don't need nothing fancy with this. And actually, not a stage display. My apologies. We come here, make an NDI one, and then we'll call this screen motion. Let's make another one. And then we'll call this one lyrics. And then one more, which will be the feed that's going directly to the ATEM. And we'll just call this one ATEM. This is where you're going to leverage looks, all right? So now that we got this in here, and I have a video that talks about this, we have these screens. So let me open up my NDI feed right now, my NDI monitor. So we're going to change this to NDI number 2. And all of these are exactly the same right now because we have not set them up to be separate yet. Then there's NDI number 3, which is going to be the equivalent of lyrics, remember? Let's shrink all of these. And then we're going to have one more, which is going to be the feed that's going to the ATEM. All right, let's get this last one. And again, right now, they're showing the exact same thing because we have not configured them. We're going to go over here to view, actually, excuse me, go to screens. We're going to go to edit looks. So this is where you can design everything. So you said you want to have one lyrics. So we don't want to show messages. We don't want to show prompts. We don't want to show announcements. And we don't want to show media. We don't want to show media input. That's what this is. Now for the ATEM, I'm going to cheat. In this, I want the ATEM to always put everything in a lower third format. So that way we can show everything to be different, right? And again, I don't want video. I don't want media. I don't want slides. I don't want announcements. I don't want props. I don't want messages. But I want everything on motion, all right? And what did I call this one? I think I called this one lower thirds. I should have named it something different, but that's fine. All right, so now that we have that in place, that's the look that we have set in place. So let's bring this up again. That's what's being displayed. Now let's bring up each one of our screens. And did I change how this? Oh, I have a look on here. I need to remove this look. All right. So now that we got this, we need to have these show up completely different. All right. And I think I didn't give it a name. No, I didn't. Let's just make a new one. Presets, and this will be test. Let's call it this. So now let's go through this again. So, oh, no. I'm right. So these are our screens. So again, motion, we want everything. Lyrics, we don't want messages, props, announcements, slides, media, or video input. No, we do want slides. My apologies. And then ATEM, we don't want this. We want this changed to a lower third format no matter what is happening. And there we go. So we got that. That is our test look. So let's change that to test. Click on this slide. And there we go. So these are our layouts now. As you can see, this is what's going to be the motion graphics that you're talking about. Here's the one with lyrics only. And then here's the one that goes in the lower third. So that look is going to separate that. So if you have Pro Presenter, is the easiest way. You would pick the monitor, the output to be what it is. So again, like in my sanctuary, we have 2 TVs on either side. We have our digital wall, and we have a stage display, and we have our ATEM feed. So we actually have 5, but our screens in the front show the same thing. That's how that would work. Again, that looks video that I did talks about that in way more detail and walks through what I just sped through, but it's mainly the looks that will power all of that. So I hope that makes sense for you. But also let me know which presentation program you're using. Again, Robert, hello. Thomas, I'm gonna need a little bit more info on this one, Thomas. We're getting a lot of static from streaming PC when live streaming. How can we fix? Now, what do you mean by static? Are you talking about static in video? I'm assuming static in audio, but I don't want to assume. Let me know specifically, and we can work with that. And Jay did say Pro Presenter. So yes, that would work exactly for you, sir. And I don't know why screen is not updating. All right, well, we'll get back to that. Lamar, hello. Got some Portugal questions here. What is the best way to train volunteers? Me personally, what I like to do in training is to slap a GoPro, your phone, whatever, have it hooked up to your body in some type of way, and you go through the whole motion of everything that you do. Let the camera record everything. Go through the whole thing. When you're done, take that video and write down every single step that you did, not just what you assume. Write down everything that you physically did, because I've done this as a habit. I'm so used to doing stuff, I'll end up forgetting stuff. So that video, document that, write the whole thing out, and then take that document, not the video, take the document and give it to somebody else who doesn't know anything, and can they replicate what you just did. That's the easiest way for me to train. And then honestly, I like OJT, on the job training. Do some stuff that's in the middle of service, or more importantly, also set up some type of mock type of situation there. Not everything all at once, but set up different examples. Like when I was training people on ProPresenter, I would go through, show them how to do it, show them the videos that I put on there, go through it again. And then I'm like, hey, this is how you search for the Bible. This is how you bring up the scripture. This is how you add lyrics. And I would do one step at a time, showing them and have documentation, and then asking them to do the same thing. And I build off of that. I give one simple step, then I do another one. And then on step number 3, trying to get them to demonstrate, I would combine 2 things to see if they can think on their feet. Meaning that, hey, can you bring up this scripture? Can you add it to the playlist? Hey, the pastor wanted verses 1 through 3, but now he wants to go 1 through 17. How quickly can you modify or add a new scripture? Stuff like that. But that's the best way I've done that. It's just video record everything, write down all those steps. And then now for the people who are visual learners, they can see it. For the people that need to have written down instructions, they can see it. And then you have a mesh of people that want to do both, and you can have it right there. And then give plenty of examples, time for them in a non-stressed environment and in a stressed environment. Can they replicate? Either one is their proficiency. So hopefully that helps. Back to Lamar. I started using the Opus Clips website, and it isn't framing correctly. How do I correct this? Opus Clips. I've never heard of that. Opus Clips. Interesting. I've never heard of this. Let's see. AI-powered video repurposing. I don't know. This is the first time I've ever seen this. Lamar, I'm going to have to play around with this. I really don't know. I like how it's, making this other stuff, so you ain't got to do it, but what they charging for this? I might have to play around with that. So let me go ahead and bookmark that. I hate it. Put it in the wrong place. Video tools. Get rid of that one. And I have to come back to that because that's the first time I've seen that. So I don't know on that one. Got a question here. The Asus Prime Z790A suitable to install to Decklink Quad 2. Let me see. The Asus Prime. I've heard Asus has been having some issues with some of the new Ryzen chips. They've been doing some busted stuff that's over voltaging the CPU and having catastrophic failure. And then they sent out a BIOS that's in beta that can fix the issue, which doesn't fix the issue. But if you install the beta, it voids your warranty, which I think is crazy. All right, so this is the motherboard. And the question was, you want to know, can 2 Decklink Quad 2s, can they be installed? I don't believe so. It doesn't, well, there's your, let me see. I don't recall. You want to know about the Decklink Quad 2. No. You're saying, can you install 2 Decklink Quad 2s? No. because as you can see, if this is the same one that you're talking about, and even if it's not, let's just say we're talking about this one. Let's look at the size of the PCIe slot right there. And then we look at the motherboard. You have, well, you got a slot. You could put it right here. You could put the other one right here, and then the GPU there. So depending on how big your GPU is, if you have a 2-slot one, it's going to be real tight on this extra card. Possibly. Without me knowing, I believe it should be. I'm just concerned about what GPU that you would have, because most of the newer one GPUs might be 2.5 to 3 slots. So it's going to eat that slot up, or it's not going to give enough airflow for the GPU if that other Decklink Duo is going to be sitting here. The other one down here should be fine. I would say yes, but I would say it's subjective to the GPU that you pick with it. So hopefully that helps. Scott, hey, good morning, sir. Lee, would you recommend a smaller church purchase a YOLO Box Pro instead of an A10 for ease of use, considering purchasing one? I like the YOLO Box Pro, but personally, unless you're limited in space and stuff like that, I would not. Only because I like the YOLO Box. I just think from a feature set and for future growth, the A10 has more features built into it. I like the YOLO Box. I'm actually going to take that for this graduation that I'm going to be doing in about 2 weeks, which I didn't have one, but I'm going to be using that as my redundancy backup as well too. But for a smaller church, it's not necessarily the size. If you have limited in space and stuff like that, yeah, it's great. If you're asking my opinion, no, I would not go with that. That's just me. I like the YOLO Box, but it's more for a portable setup to where I need to get into unique areas where I don't have a lot of stuff and I can be battery operated if I need to and things like that. But for a church, most of the time, I personally like it to be in a stationary type of position and be able to give a little bit more power, more inputs for the future and everything like that. That's just me personally. Not knocking it, but that's just personally. John, hello. Thank you so much. Francis, hey AJ, have you looked into the Rode Mini MX? It's a new switcher they introduced. I think it's coming out. Yes, I actually saw that. So if no one knows about that, that is actually, I think this is it right here. Hold on. Let's see. Rode dropped a whole bunch of stuff, and I want to play around with some of the stuff. I'm a little hesitant on some of the stuff. Hold on. I think that's the wrong one. So that was the Rode Mini. Where's it at? MX. Where's it at? Rode Mini MX. Yeah, this is what. No, that's the Duo. I think that's it. Because it was like, it's a streaming system and it does audio and stuff like that. So it's a mixture of like the ATEM and some other stuff at the same time. Let me go back to Rode. I hate going through another link. I mean, I think that's it. Well, this is a smaller version of it. Yeah, so this is an audio interface and capture. That's a serious price, I must say. You can get the ATEM Mini Pro with more inputs than that one. You would need a secondary device. I think it's good. I just think that's a little pricey compared to what other options you can have. And this is the Caster Duo. This is like the next iteration of the board I have, but I think that's only audio only. Yeah, this is audio only. So I think that other one we just showed, this one is more of like, honestly, I think this is better for like gaming where you only have one camera and one input. Because again, if we look on the back of this thing, I mean, you only have one video in and a pass through. So, you know, your game console, your PlayStation 5 will come in here and then loop out. But I'm just wondering, where's your camera? Dual USB-C for dual PCs. Yeah, I'm wondering how this must be like you hook this up to another system or something like that. I need to see what the use case of this would be, to be quite honest. So see, like right here, he's capturing, but he also still has another camera. So the camera is going to be capturing their face, and then this is going to be for audio, your, I guess, better audio with a mic and capturing your game. Is that a Radeon 7 that's in there? That's what it looks like. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't think this would be good for a church unless this is something like you have it set up at your pastor's desk or something like that, and it's just a simple interface. But honestly, at $399, I still would go with an ATEM over that. That's just me. Brian, what's going on? Brandon, like I said, what? See, Brian, you messed me up right when I went to that next one. What's up, Doc? Yeah. Leo, hello. Anthony, how do I invert the AVCAM's PTZ? I installed it right side up, but because I may need to hang it upside down. It's all inside the software. Do I have? I'm trying to think. I don't have a AVCAM's one I can get to right now, but there's a couple of ways you can do it. So let me actually go into one of the cameras I have here, and honestly, the concept is exactly the same. I think it's at 91. So you could do this with the joystick, would honestly be one of the easier ways to do this, or you log into the camera itself and do the same thing. So this is my camera over here. You can come over here to configuration, and under video parameters, is it video parameters? Yeah, under image, that's where I would, flip both of these. That's where you would do it. You can log in, or when you go through the menu, it will give you the exact same thing. That's how you would flip it. Or the software, the CMS software, you can log in and do the same thing. Honestly, the easiest thing, get the remote or log into the camera. Excuse me, let me take that back. Depending on the AVCAM's one, there is no web interface. So you may have to use the CMS app to switch it. But honestly, the easiest thing, just use the remote that came with it and go through the menu. It's under image, and you just flip the vertical and horizontal, and you'll be good to go. Robert, quick question. I have a Behringer X-Air X18. I'm using the Yellow Box Pro for streaming from my church. Unfortunately, I don't get any audio out from the tape out. Do I need to route the audio? Yes, you do. By default, typically it does have that. So X-Air X18. Let me see. So that board is this one right here. So this is the tape out. So as long as that's up, that main toggle here at the top is up, you should get audio out. The far right RCAs, you should get something from there. Then if we flip on the back, I mean, you could do some aux sends and then you can adjust it, either one, but you should. Again, I've messed with one of these and I don't know through the menu, but it's typically the menu should be the exact same as the X32 edit, and you have to route the audio. So actually, let's see. Maybe Behringer will let me simulate some of that stuff. So if we go to mixers, digital mixers, All right, so here's the XR edit. So let me see. If I download this and let's see what it shows. It should be able to guide me through something. On the desktop, let's go to, where was it placed at? Desktop. Yeah, no, I had it on there. What's it at? Oh, I'm tripping. It's right there. All right, so inside of here, let's look at in and out. So you have all your channels coming in. USB sends, Ultranet, auxiliary out, main out. That does left and right. So I don't know. That's wireless, LAN, audio. That's strange. I would think just by default it's going to send it out because it doesn't really show any other type of configuration to where like you have to route it. Because typically that tape out is just, the tape out just mimics your left and right. I mean, your main left and right. And this is still set up when I did this other church with that one. That's funny. I don't know. I don't know on that one. It should just send everything out. I don't see, unless I'm overlooking something, I don't see how you would have to route the main out. And I've never really had to map that out. By default, it always goes out. So I don't know on that one. Rhonda, good morning. Using the iMac with OBS, how to capture the Zoom window in OBS? Well, let's see. And I just took down that mic. Hold on. So this is my other mic I took down. Let me set this up for a second. All right, this is mic number 2. So let's use that shortcut, the macro that we made. There we go. So that's a macro that we just did on that other video. Oh, wrong shot. Pull this one down here. So we are over here on the Mac, and that's too close. There we go. All right, let's see. So you want to know how we can capture the Zoom. So let's go ahead and open up, not there, wrong window. Open up the OBS here. Install that later. Do I have? Yes, I do. I forgot I do have my ATEM connected to this. I mean, actually, this is the USB camera that I have. That's what's captioned on here. So we're good with that. And you want to know how we would capture the Zoom. So let me bring up Zoom here. It's probably going to log me out. Actually, let me set up a Zoom on my other computer, and I'm gonna bring this in. so we're going to join a meeting. What's the meeting number? This is a one time, so don't nobody get any ideas. And then meeting code. All right, so I am bringing myself in from the other system. So I'm going to pin this, and it's going to go on to infinity. Actually, let me turn off my camera here, and let me bring myself in, and I'll use that video. All right, so we got this. So we want to know how we're going to capture this, right? So let's go back over here to OBS. Let's do we can do a screen capture. And that's going to capture the entire screen. But let's see. Can we do an application capture? I was saying no, it doesn't give me anything specifically. So we would have to do a screen capture specifically for Zoom. And you would just have to make sure that we're not touching anything after that. Oh, there it is. There's application capture. My apologies. So what are we going to capture? Application. What's the application? There's Zoom. And there we go. And now we've captured that. Just realize now we also have to capture the audio separately. So that would be where we're capturing the audio input, which is what we just did from right here. So that's just my default capture, and that's it. So this is one of those situations where I would do a full screen type of thing. So there's always taking up the entire window. You could come down here and crop this stuff here. I think it was command. No, that's the resizing. Or is it option? Yeah, option. I would take this stuff out, hold down option, just dragging, and then there you go. And you can hide all the other stuff here. And let me move that one more because I don't have the audio hiding. And that's how you can do it. So now I'm capturing everything that's coming through. I can send this out, and we're good to go. So hopefully that helps you. Let's cut back over to this other computer. And we're going to change back to that one. Let's mute that extra mic. Hopefully that helped you. Let me end this meeting here on Zoom. All righty. Rhonda, I hope that helped you. Kenneth, hello. Back to Anthony. ATEM is giving a humming noise even when the mixer isn't on. Anthony, I would verify when you are in your ATEM that the feed actually is set, your audio is set appropriately. So when you go in here into your ATEM software, go in here to the little gear, go to your audio, general, make sure that's line. Because if I switch this right now, it'll give me some buzz. Mic is too hot, especially if you're coming from a mixer. Verify that first. If you're getting still getting noise, it could be that your cable is near electrical stuff and it's becoming an antenna and you're getting grounding noise. But the first thing I would say is check this first. And that's in the ATEM software. All righty. All right, back to Carriers of the Covenant. He said that he's hearing the audio first. So what I would do in that's when I would do like DaVinci Resolve. And again, your system, I think I know what system that you got. So DaVinci Resolve can do this. You can do this on the free one. So you don't need the paid version for this. And to let y'all know, I haven't done the video yet. I'm still playing around with this. It's interesting. I've been having some issues with connecting to it because it's the Bluetooth that's on my computer. So I don't know. I mean, it works. So I'm going to actually do this right now so you can see it. So like in here, let me go to the Good Shepherd video and see it hasn't booted up yet, which I don't understand. Oh, now there it goes. I didn't even touch it because the Bluetooth picks up. So timeline. So there we go. So I'm using the wheel to go through here. But anyway, to go what you're talking about, what I would do is bring my clip in. And if there was an issue with your audio, you can come here, click the audio, and then do a voice isolation. And it has done very, very well to get rid of some stuff. So like, for example, let me see. I know I have a video somewhere where I was walking around and there was a lot of noise outside. So let me see if I can find that clip real quick just to give you an example of just how good it actually does this noise. It was at a church I was doing and there was a car going by. What video was that? Was this it? No, that wasn't it. I want to give an example of how good it actually does those videos. All right, folks. So after what it seems like forever and a day to get a rental vehicle, I don't know. I know I don't know where the video is, but a video I can use for a good example of that. But pretty much come in here, you would just turn on voice isolation. And again, this is a part of the free version, and then see how that would do it, because it will intelligently remove a whole bunch of noise from your stuff. That's what I would say. I would try that first. Again, outside of that, I'm kind of limited on what I think would be a good option. But I know when I've had noise, cars, ambulances and stuff, because that's right on this side. It's a fire station right across the street, so it's always going. If you haven't heard that, most of the time that's what I've used, and that's killed a lot of that noise. So that's what the first thing I would try. Eduardo Jameson, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. It says, I just purchased the Famako bundle and I want to know how to set it up for use with StreamYard. Well, you're not going to be able to hook it directly up. StreamYard needs some type of interface to bring it into your computer. So the cameras are good, but how are you bringing that in? What type of capture device are you using? Need to know that first, and then I can steer you in that direction. Mr. Clarence, hello. Philip Paul, hello. And back to that reference, Monty says he's actually setting up the Streamer X now. Sweet, sweet. So check out Monty's page. I'm sure he's going to do a great review on that. So the people who are interested, get some information from him on that one. And Francis says, sorry, the name was actually the RG Link Mini. So let me see, RG Link Mini. Oh yeah, somebody, the RGB Link Mini. Yeah, a couple of people were talking about this. It was somebody posted this in the Facebook group, which I didn't do. My apologies, folks. If I can't get to your question, know that you can email me at questions@ajhomes.com. Give me 48 to 72 hours for me or D to respond. And also, this information you can find in our Facebook group. If you have a part of that, man, what are y'all doing? This is awesome. It's just a community of people that come together and where we try and share, just like this Q&A with people all over the world. It's like, hey, me and Monty can only touch so much equipment, but being partnered with a whole bunch of other media ministries all over the world, I'm sure someone has the equipment that you were looking for. So this is the group. We got, how many people we got in here now? Let's see. We got some new people. We're at 2,921 people. Awesome, awesome sauce. So again, check that out. But back to that link, you're talking about the Mini Pro 2 Duo. Again, it's still $500. That's half the price of the A10 Mini Extreme. Let's see. So in here, power, and this is an AI picture. This is not real. You got 4 inputs, 1 output, and I'm wondering, you got a T-bar, your cameras. Yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm not knocking it because I haven't touched it, but just at that price, I need to know what is featured before I would honestly recommend that. Because again, the A10 Mini Pro is $200 cheaper. It doesn't have a screen, but like these foldable screens that I have right here in front of me, I actually got another one. You can't see it, but this screen right here, that's a mobile screen that I got, and it goes for $90, and it folds flat like an iPad. I use that, and then even if you combine both of them, you're still not close to that price. So again, I'm not knocking it. I need, hey, RGB link. If you want to send me one, hey, I'd love to check it out. Jay here. Good morning, AJ. How about the you doing? Thank you for your videos. They've helped out. Have you used VideoSom? Yes, I have. I haven't used it extensively. I've played around with it with some of the group, but there's a bunch of people in our Facebook group that do use it. But yes, I am doing great. I hope you're doing great as well. And I see your next comment right there. I got you. It was saying, how are you doing? I meant, sorry. Nah, you're good. I'm doing well. Kokomo. What's the cheapest HDMI transmitter receiver you have used for cameras? For cameras, I've used, honestly, a very, very cheap one on Amazon. But again, when I used this, it wasn't meant for like actually a replacement of somebody talking. It was more of like a static field type of shot to where I'm not tracking anybody. So it was something like this one. This is the one that I've used. This is the newer version of the one that I installed when I was in California on a church out there. And it was meant just for their stage display, but we have hooked up a camera to it temporarily before I came out there that second time because we had to run another cable in the ceiling. That has worked. But honestly, if you're looking for something that needs to be right on point and just as good as if somebody is mimicking, a cable, that's where you're going to look at the Hollyland Mars. Those ones, you can maybe get an older model like this one that could work. They get pretty pricey. But everybody I've seen use them, they've been working fine. Like I've used ones like this, but this was just for like, hey, somebody wants to put a PowerPoint somewhere. So it's not like syncing with video and audio. So you're going to have to invest and put something else. So I've done this. That's worked. But that was for simple, like I just need a static shot. I was going to say static shock like the cartoon, but not static, a static shot that is not syncing. So like a crowd shot or something like that. I've used it for that, not for a replacement of a physical connection. Clint. Hello, AJ. Hey, it's morning here too in Australia, 12:58 a.m. I was talking to somebody last night at the same time. It was like that. I just wanted to say congratulations on your success building your business and thanks for sharing insight. Hey, well, thank you, Clint. I really appreciate that. I really, really, really do. Back to Thomas. He was saying it's static in the audio. Thomas, can you send a link to that? Can you post a link in the chat? It will block you, but I can open it back up. If you send that so I can actually hear what type of static it is, and we can try and work towards that, finding a solution for you. Back to Anthony. I tried to use the remote under image. It only shows mirror. I'll try the interface. Awesome. And if you have any issues, let me know. I do have one of those. Now that I actually think about it. No, I don't. I did have a camera, but no, I do. Hold on. I forgot I had this camera. One of these AVCAN's cameras for the install that I said I messed up the dates. This is for North Carolina. this one right here. Let me get this plugged in. All right, I'm gonna unplug the camera that's behind me so that we can see what's going on with this. All right, I was waiting for it to boot up and wait for it to show. All right, there it is. So there is my shot. So we're gonna change my super source real quick so y'all can see it. This is gonna be studio camera. All right, so that's that camera right there. So what we're gonna do is come over here to where's it at? Where's it at? Stuff. Then it is tools. There's the app. Come on. All right, so let's search for the camera. There it is. We're gonna add this. Admin. All right, so there's our shot. Why is saying connection failed? Oh, because I have to set the IP. Hold on. Let's delete that. I need to modify the network because it's on a static. We set it to DHCP first. Now it'll be on my network. Let's do a refresh. There's the IP. There we go. Now we can add it. And let's add this to the client. All right, so we're here. Now let's go ahead and do management of it. So inside of here, we're going to go to the menu. And I know the screen is small. And I can barely even see this myself. All right, there it goes. So there's our menu. So we're going to go to, let's go down to System. Enter. And Mount Mode. So it actually makes it easier. So right here is Mount Mode. It says Stand. If I switch it over to Ceiling, there it goes. It switched the whole thing. So if this is the same one that you're using, Anthony, it's Mount Mode. If it's the bigger AV cans ones, I think it's under Image. So there you go. So hopefully that helps you. I was like, I know I had one of these cameras, and I just drew a blank there for a second. All right. And actually, that date is really off. January 1st, 1970. But anyway, hope that helps. Back to Robert. Close this. Close that. Thanks for your input. I will use the aux out and see if that will work. Hey, you are welcome. Back to Philip Pohl. Hey, AJ, I'm having some problem with Zoom audio. Sometimes it goes low and it comes back normal. Audio is coming through the Behringer audio interface to OBS. Any thoughts? Turn off echo cancellation. That's probably what's doing it. If you're saying it's going in up and out. I did a video talking about that with music. I think that's what you need to do. Just check the Zoom audio stuff. So if I cut back over here, Otis, I see you there. If we come over here and we go to our audio, be mindful that you have, if you have the optimized audio, don't have it set on auto. That will just give you some sporadic type of noise stuff. You could do it on low like I have it on mine, or you can go to original sound, but that's what I'm thinking is the first thing you need to check out. And then back to Otis. On the XR18, make sure that the master buses send for the tape aux is at Unity and send to tape out is going to tape out. I know on X32 buses, 11 and 12 offer internal recorder and a thing for tape out. Thank you there, Otis. Let's see. Phyllis, hello. Creator for fun. Glad I was able to make it. Send back a message to D on where we were going to reschedule when I come back up there. Let me know, and we can get that taken care of. Mike wants to know the foldable screen. Sure. I will show you exactly which one I got because I ordered 2 of them. The other one is I'm building out my portable stuff, so I don't like breaking down stuff here. So I bought another one. So this is the one I'm taking with me when I go to do the graduation. And I actually got another A10 Mini Extreme ISO on the sale. So this is the one that I got here, and it went up, but it went up by $10. So this is the one that I'm using, and I will put a link there for that. And let me know, I also have Canada links as well too. So so there you go. Put that there and there. Second question from Philip Paul. Let's see. Second question. I have a youth meeting coming up with the speaker is from overseas via Zoom to us in church, and some other people will join in Zoom too. We might have some Q&A with the speaker, and same time I needed to project the speaker on screen. I mean, what I would do is in that Zoom, especially if you're going to do Q&A, I would set it up as a webinar, and that will automatically put the speaker full screen the entire time. That will also set the chat up for Q&A so you can filter it, and somebody will send that image, that questions to your speaker. That's how I would set that up. And again, need some more info on if you're talking about how to put them on the screen as in a physical connection and stuff like that, I need some more info on that. It's kind of hard to just gauge, but you're also saying we have 2 laptops, one for presentation, which is not very good spec. The other one is a bit higher, can record, one A10 Mini Pro and an old desktop. Again, I would probably say set up multi-monitor on Zoom. Have say your desktop or whichever computer that has a secondary output, connect that to a screen that's inside the sanctuary. That would show the full screen of whoever's talking or whoever you have pinned in Zoom. And then I would still set the Zoom up as a webinar, and then you don't have to fight people turning their cameras on and off and audio and all this other stuff, and you can set it up as a Q&A. That's how I would do that. Andre, what is the best wireless microphone system that you recommend for 10 singers, choir members for a small 1,015 square foot church? We're using the X32 soundboard. I have used, shout out to Brandon, I've used Phoenix Pro. I actually just got some of those mics that I'm installing. So, and I had 2 individual units. So these are the units that I used. So I have 2 of them, but they do have units that actually have 8 in a entire system, and they work very, very well. And so there's one right here that you can use, an 8-unit one. I don't know if those were those are fixed. So you might want to get one that has the adjustable range, and I don't know, I'm pulling a blank, so don't get after me if I'm picking the wrong range, the UHF or VHF. Can't remember which one off the top of my head, but I would say something like that, or just 2 of the adjustable ones. Like I said, I've used and I've been very happy with them. When I hooked them up without even kind of EQing them or nothing like that, the pastor was very happy with them. Here's one. I think this is adjustable. Yeah, these are the adjustable ranges, and that gives you 8 right there, and then maybe get double them or whatever. Or like I've used 2, maybe get one like this and then get another 4-unit one, and then you can have 12 mics. That's what I would use. And I'll put a link in the description to that if you are interested. There you go. Otis, can you post a link to the mount behind you with the overhead camera? Sure, I will. I actually got that recommendation from Sean Cannell. So let me find exactly what it was. Because I mean, that is an industrial strength one. I've had other ones that couldn't hold. And the linking arm, get out the way, that locking arm right there is very strong. I almost wanted to do another one to have an overhead here. But let me see. Overhead mount. I've ordered so much stuff from like Amazon. It's kind of hard to try and track. Hold on, I got the box in here. Hold on. It is a Aricon mounts. That's what this is. And it comes with units for phone and DSLR and tablets and all this other stuff. So let me see. Because this is the very, oh, there it is. That's the one I got. Not really expensive. That lock right there is very strong right there. So, and again, it's holding a PTZ. I've actually used to hold my camcorder, and I think it's held up to a 7-pound camera, and it's been rock solid. So I will put a link there for y'all. Table camera mount. Alrighty, back to Carriers of the Covenant. Do you allow the smart switches to cut your cameras on? Will a camera being in on position be affected being powered on by the switches? No, it won't. And it depends on what type of camera. Again, all of these are connected to PTZ cameras that I have, and they get power through the PoE. So if you just shut the PoE, it's like you're shutting it off. And I've had no issues, just like the cameras I have are hooked up in that same way, how I have them hooked up to me. So I have not had any issue at all. This camera is set to the exact same way, and I can't hook up to the other one because I turned it off. But that camera, just like I had the other one, is set the same way. So no, I have not had any issues with it. I normally leave it in an on position, and then I just go from there. Mike, our pastor wants to do outdoor services some weeks during the summer. Any suggestions on how you would stream that service? The antenna that I'm using for the graduation, I did a review on that. That's what I would use. Oh, here it goes. So I'd have this connected on the side of the building and just have it pointed to a relative location. It has a wide range. So, I mean, you're not going to be, I don't know if you're going to be miles away, Mike, but I mean, this just pointed in the vicinity and then have another one point back. And then now you'll have pretty much relative same speed as if you were hardwired in. And these were cheap. These were like $50, $60 each. So a set of them was just $130. And again, I had the video on that, so I was thinking, check that out. And that's exactly what I'm going to use for the graduation in 2 weeks. Bill, we're looking at purchasing the AVCam setup with the 3 cameras and the controller. I was wondering, how do they with low light levels? We'll be shooting from about 45 to 60 feet back. I mean, they're relatively good. Most of the other churches I've had set up, they've gone around that same distance without any problem. You can set adjustments for the lighting as well too to compensate as well. Typically they're set at automatic. You can go manual. You can dial it in if you need to, but I mean, I haven't had any issues with it at all. And they work great for me because I'm assuming those ones are actually the higher versions than the one I just have, and they give you a little bit more flexibility and control. So I've had people that will turn the lights off in the sanctuary when it's communion and stuff like that, and it picks up perfectly fine. Philip Paul wants to know, how do you set it up as a webinar? It's actually, once you create it, it does that. So let me see. Let me see where that menu is. Schedule. I think it's in the web interface where you need to set that up. Because if you do, yeah, I think it's in the web interface, and I don't want to go into that right now because it's going to show too much information. I think I showed too much, so I need to reset some of my stuff here shortly because I didn't realize that it was going to show some of the stuff there. Yeah, it's in the, it depends on your plan. You should have it. It depends on how many people. I think by default, you may be able to add 100 or something like that, but that's what I'm thinking. Agile Graphics, great name. Hello, AJ. My church does not fully support the media department in the area of finance, but I want us to start using phone like a camera. So I want us to ask if there is a way I can use a very high quality phone like an iPhone to bring in video to your laptop. Yes, yes, you can. You got a couple of apps. You have ones, I've done reviews. They used to be free during COVID, but they now cost, I think, like $15. I think it's the HX one like that works. You also have one where it's iPhone for iPhone camera, where you can use the cable to become one that can go in. I mean, there's a bunch of other ones you can do that will do that. And if you're using OBS, it'll work that way as well too. NDI, anything like that can bring it in. So yes, that is very much doable. I have a few older videos that go over the exact same thing as well too. And I have someone has called me, so I have to talk with them in a little bit. So yeah, that is possible. And I think there's still people here that do that as well too in our group. John, depending on the use of the mount you're looking for, there is a wall boom arm at B&H Photo still on sale. It is an Impact 7-foot. Let's check that out. I mean, there's other ones. Like I used a couple of overhead boom arms that I did at Spring Creek, and I want to get them myself. But here in this house that I'm renting, I can't actually installed anything in the wall. And yeah, this is exactly the one that I used at Spring Creek. This is one, when I get my house, this is the one I want to have that's on the wall that has my overhead so I can roll it away. And I've used these. These are really good. And I have those as well at Spring Creek that hold PTZs on there. And these are actually way cheaper than the ones when I got them. I got them at full price at $140. So really good. Thank you there, John, for that. Because that's the ones that you're using, right, in the remodel that you did, correct, John? DSLRs, if you're talking about they staying on power, I mean, technically, I mean, it's the same thing. Because if you're using the DSLR, most likely you would have a faux battery, so it's actually plugged into a wall, so it won't do it with with won't stay on. So for example, this Blackmagic Micro Cinema is what I used to use as an overhead, but since it doesn't have autofocus, it used to be a pain. You probably saw me reach up sometimes and adjust them when I had these. But see, I took the battery off of this so that when I plug this in and I use the smart switch, it just turns this on and it's locked. Now, these cameras are different. Once it detects power, it will turn the camera on anyway. So I don't have to there's no physical button to leave it in on mode. Once power is killed and when power is detected, it powers back up. So DSLRs, technically, I mean, I don't believe there's an issue with that. I would leave that to anybody else. I have not noticed the issue. But again, I haven't used it that often. Otis, yeah, the same way. Now, these cameras, I do the same thing. I have my joystick set for button number 6 to turn the power off to these cameras. So because I don't have these cameras hooked up, my PoE powers stuff here all the time. So I can't turn off the PO switch like I do at churches. Mine stays on because it powers my camera and all this other stuff like that. But for me, I physically on the joystick or like what you say in the interface, I send an off command to those cameras. So the joystick isn't hooked up to that. So I can do it on the overhead. So if I do that, so like my overhead, if I switch to that camera, typically I'll come in here and that's turning the power off. So now that camera is physically off. That's how I normally would do that. And actually I need to turn it back on. I don't think I need it, but the Simply Spoil, great name. What are your thoughts on StreamYard for graphics and better visual appearance? I mean, I think StreamYard is good because you don't have to, it simplifies what needs to be done and the software has made it a lot easier. The only thing is when you use the graphics and stuff like that, I think it's going to be perfectly fine. You can input all this other stuff like that. The only issue I have with StreamYard is you're dependent on their stuff and your computer is handling that. There's no really dialing in and making stuff better if you wanted to. Like I can push more images, more frames, more bit rate into the image that you're seeing. But those applications you really can't, which is not a problem. Like I was talking to somebody else, like the average person is not going to notice this stuff. We may notice it, especially if you're editing, you can tell the difference. But most of the time, the average person is not going to notice it. But I think it's a great start. I know plenty of churches still use it. My friend Kyle still uses it. Even though he has an A10 Mini Pro, he still uses the A10 Mini Pro and sends all of that into StreamYard, and StreamYard does it. So I think it's a great tool. Philip Paul wants to know, what is the cheapest camera or camcorder to live stream with that has an HDMI out? To be quite honest, old iPhone that supports a dongle that can do HDMI out. The Sony Handycams are still coming in around like $200. That would be a good one. Back to John. I mounted a PC optics camera on the overhead shot for the table for cooking school. It is rock solid. Yes, used it in our upgrade. Awesome. John is saying, missing Bahamas so much, going back in mid-June, fishing with a Michigan friend and our Bohemian friend. My wife and I hung out with our Bohemian friend during the Nassau cruise day. Awesome. I was this close to actually going on another trip to get away. Just right now, because everybody's on a holiday, prices just gone up, and I just can't justify me spending that. I do have somebody from high school, her and her husband are in Ireland, and they went to the same place I went to. I'm trying to maybe go to somewhere else. Like I said, it's like I'm excited about the stuff I'm doing, but it's like, man, everybody knows life happens, and it's just a lot of life going on right now with things. So I keep myself distracted so that I don't have a lot of time to sit down and just be dealing with all the stuff, the ups and downs and stuff like that of life. But we all do that. So I just say this to folks that it's like, hey, whatever you're going through, you're not the only one. I need to tell that to me, just because sometimes you'll get in situations you think that you're the only one that's going through some stuff. Yeah, it's rough out there for everybody, especially if you're trying to do stuff with a purpose. The enemy ain't just going to let you just keep And I'm saying this to me too. I'm saying this to you too, AJ. You really think the enemy is just going to let you get to 100,000 subscribers, helping share the message of Jesus Christ throughout the whole world and just have no issues at all and just let you just go through it peacefully without any struggles, without any heartbreak? Come on now, dude. I remember somebody told me a long time ago, if you ain't got struggles in your life, that means that you are not a threat to the enemy. The enemy only attacks those people who are a threat. So hopefully that little wisdom of nugget will give you some encouragement. AJaytheCEO, I am working with ProPresenter 7, trying to figure out how do you trigger audio on and off on different inputs. You will probably want to put a macro on that and link the macro, just like on the ATEM, you would turn it on and off. Simple, but then trigger that macro when you click on a specific slide. That's how you would do that. Dole Ministries, good morning, Dr. Holmes. What type of gigabit switch are you using? My upstream is only 3 to 5 I am using Unify switches right now. That is my entire network. And I don't have a camera pointing over there to show everything. This is the same stuff that I install for all the churches I do, and I do that so that I can actually have it on hand. That's why I always install the same stuff. I have at home what I install. So like if I go here, so this is my networking stuff. So there's my router, the UDM Pro. I have a US 8. That's for my entertainment stuff upstairs. There's my 24-port PoE that's in the closet over there. That's my 10 gigabit. That's handling my NAS, my main video editing system, my streaming system. There's another PoE that's right under the table to my right that's powering my phone, my displays, the Wi-Fi here, and that camera that's right here. Then I have my Pro switch that's handling all the other networking stuff over here. And I have the same PoE switch that I recommend for installs. That's what I have under the table that is powering all the stuff over there. That's the BZ Tech 10 port. So I have the exact same thing. That's what I use for now. Absolutely. Don't like it, but hey, that's the way it is. Another thing, ministry moment here for a second, folks. This I'm like I said, I try to be transparent with y'all. So one of the things I've had to tell myself, and I ain't gonna get emotional with this, because I mean it's life, dude. It's like it's some of y'all, if y'all have been on the last couple of roundtables, I've talked about a lot of stuff that's going on. So call this a ministry moment. We'll take a second and just say this. I have to keep telling myself, and I need y'all to tell yourselves this, whenever you're going through, he has my life in his hands. When I sit back and think of all the hell that's going on, the heartbreak, the pain, the frustration, I literally have to tell myself, God is not a deadbeat God. He knows every hair on my head, even though I shaved off this morning. But he has my life in his hands. He knows the tears. He knows the frustration. He knows that he sees when people are misusing you. And I just have to trust that he's not playing a game and letting me be hurt. And he sees the whole situation, that for what the enemy meant for bad, God is going to turn for your good. I am saying that to you because I had to tell myself repeatedly that just last night. So I told y'all, yeah, I be smiling and all this other stuff like that, but don't get it twisted. Just because YouTube and all this other stuff in business, it's still stuff that hits here, that rocks me to my core on occasion. But I have to be just like David and remember, you brought me through this. You brought me through when I was, and it's common knowledge now, you brought me through when I went through my divorce and I was building my YouTube channel when I was living with my sister on the floor for 2 years. I didn't have a job. I wasn't able to see my daughter, all this other stuff. He got me through that. So way more info that most people don't even know about until the round table. But I have to just keep telling myself, he has my life in his hands. He knows what he's doing. So anyway, I think that's enough. I think I know enough. I will be catching up with Monty here in about 2 hours. We're got to make sure my daughter's get her some lunch. We get on the road, get packed up. And like I said, I'm doing a halfway trip. I'm going to be in Pennsylvania, Haverton, Pennsylvania at Haverton Seventh-day Adventist Church on Saturday to be there in service with them, and then look over their system, do some training with their team. Then we're going to be back, and then we're going to be back in New York on Tuesday. And just let y'all know, all the people who are in the military, Memorial Day is not Veterans Day. Memorial Day is for the people who have fallen in service. So a lot of people say, hey, AJ, you were in the Marines. Happy Memorial Day. I'm still alive. No, Memorial Day is not for the veterans and people in the service who are still alive. It's for to celebrate those who have fallen. So if you had any family that has passed on and they served, thank you for their service and everything like that. I hope y'all have a great and safe holiday. And if no one has told you, folks, thank you for everything that you're doing. He knows every situation. We are a peculiar people. The stuff that you do, the interest that you have in sound, audio, computers, all this other stuff, that is not a mistake. I know you might not have people that appreciate you for what you're doing, but I want to tell you thank you for what you're doing, because I know you're doing the same thing that I'm doing, and I know the purpose that you're doing. So you might not have people patting you on the back and stuff like that. I'm here to tell you thank you for all the hard work, your own money that you spent, your time, the sacrifices that you've made. Thank you. And more importantly, he has you in his hands. He knows what he's doing. So I appreciate all of y'all, what y'all doing. Thank you for the kudos. Thank you for the congratulations. I would have never been able to I never started YouTube to get a doctorate. That was the furthest thing from my mind. And I'm just thankful that in spite of everything, God is blessed because I focused on what he told me to do. And if he can do that for me, there is no reason why he would not do that for you. So I just want to pray for your encouragement. I love y'all. I really do. Just the kind words that y'all said, the phone calls, everything like that. I appreciate that. And I just want to do as best as I can with this platform to try and pass that on to you, because I know what it's like to try and do a lot of stuff and you're doing a whole bunch of stuff by yourself through all this hell and high water that you're going through. So I hope what I'm doing here helps you in some type of way, whether it's just encouragement, whether it's a technique, whether it's you knowing about some piece of hardware that you've never even heard of. I hope it helps. Y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are, and we'll be catching y'all on the next video, folks. Later.